The irony of this time of year is that you tend to see more unwanted behaviors, even though you're dedicating extra time and attention to special projects. If you're a parent, you're probably planning special meals. And if you're an educator or a therapist, you might even have some themed activities in order to really make this holiday season rich for children. So, today we're going to talk about how to prevent those unwanted behaviors that actually arise because our minds are preoccupied with, ironically, creating special circumstances for children to be able to enjoy this season with us. I'm Samantha Moe, your Mad to Glad parenting coach. So, if you feel frustrated that usually in the holiday season, your child has more behaviors, you feel more triggered, you see difficult transitions off of screens or into these special events, whether it's a meal or going on an outing or trying to get your kid outside because you finally have some free time to really spend some quality time together, you will like this video. So Thanksgiving in the United States is one of my favorite seasons to begin talking about Dr. Gary Chapman's program called the 5 Love Languages. And basically what it is it's a way that we can consider filling the needs of children or adults, so that if their tank is full, they have a better attitude and we can really enjoy the time that we spend together because there's not as much contention or stress in the relationship. So for children, I want to share what these 5 love languages are and give you some ideas on how you can implement this at home, aside from things like special meal and theme and activity planning. So one of the love languages that Dr. Gary Chapman talks about is physical touch. So this is where you might scoop your child up into a hug, you might cuddle them, you might give them a foot massage. Now, if you're somebody who does not have this love language, let's say you have a different one, which is like words of affirmation, you might find yourself praising your child for doing good work or for being independent or saying things like, I love you, and letting them overhear you bragging about their behavior or their personality when you're talking on the phone to somebody. So you want to be aware of what your child's love language is, because if you feel like you're using all these positive praise and positive language strategies and it's not really sinking in, then you want to consider if your child has a different love language. How do you know that you're following your child's love language? Well, you can actually see the twinkle in their eye get brighter. There was a study in brain science that showed when kids are lit up and they're feeling really connected to, the quality of the shine or the sparkle in their eye actually changes. So physical touch is one love language to consider. The other one that I mentioned is the words of affirmation. So of course, these are all the positive things that I have already mentioned, but you can fill your child's words of affirmation love language by doing things like writing them a special letter, or depending on the age of your kid, you could send them a text message. If you have a younger child and you're traveling because of the holiday season, it's really nice if they're at home and you're somewhere else to send a text even to a co-parent if you have one, or the caregiver in their life, so that they can show the text message that you send their way. The third love language to consider is the one of receiving gifts. Now, this is something that might feel really obvious, like, okay, yeah, during the holiday season, we can give gifts. And we want to be aware of this one so that we're not breaking the bank and we're not over gifting children. So one of the ways that you can honor their love language of receiving gifts is if they have positive behavior, you can do something like hand them a physical token that they can redeem later for something else, like quality time or independent play or something that's really rewarding for them. You could also give them something tangible that feels like a gift, by, if you're, like if you're going for a walk, you're walking the dog outside and you see a special leaf or a special stone, particularly those ones that might be like shaped like a heart or look something that looks unique, you can pick that up and present that to your child so that they feel like you were really thinking about them. Another creative way of giving your child a gift is making their food look like something special. So if you like to make Mickey Mouse pancakes or something like that, if you can make food into art, that satisfies the love language of receiving gifts. So we've got physical touch, words of affirmation, receiving gifts. As we move along here into the fourth one, that is acts of service. So acts of service is one where you do something special for your child. You help them out even if they're able to do it. So maybe they like you to tie their shoe for them, or help them pick out clothes, sit next to them and help them with their homework. Or when you pick them up from school, you carry their backpack or you help them hang it up. Now, of course, there is room for us to help children develop their independent skill. Like, obviously, we want them to learn how to carry their backpack on their own and put their stuff away when they get home. But at this time of year where we're distracted or dedicated, we could say, to other activities, know that there's extra room here to really fill your child's emotional tank so they feel that you're really connecting to them, even though you might be preoccupied in other ways. And then finally, the fifth love language is quality time. So we know that this is a love language that is a priority for children when they say, watch me or play with me. Like, if they are actually expressing that or taking you by the hand, it's likely that that quality time feels really good to them and does what I call elicits happy chemicals. And the great thing about happy chemicals is they're all about connection and bonding, things like dopamine and oxytocin. So again, if there's a little bit of stress in your home or in your relationship and you're feeling kind of irritable with your child, it's important to honor these love languages, because if there is more happy chemistry in the brain, there's less room for things like adrenaline and cortisol, and that actually starts calming down so that children are more grounded and they can self-entertain during those moments when you need them to, and you can get some of this other fun stuff done. So of course, remember that quality time means one-on-one play. It doesn't mean that if you have 5 children and you can't build that in, it doesn't mean that you have to do that every single day for every child. That's why love languages are amazing. You can be strategic around what kind of energy and attention you give to your child to specifically address their needs. It does mean you are monotasking. So maybe you are squeezing 10 or 15 minutes of quality time in with your child, where you follow their lead and you play Legos with them. If that's what they're already doing, you just go and join them and play. Or if they're doing craft activities, you just go and sit down and do something parallel alongside them. Make sure that you're monotasking and not also checking text messages or running into the kitchen to complete some food. So remember that these love languages really help during this time of year when there's this irony of, I'm doing this special stuff for kids to create memorable events, and yet there's more stress in the relationship. This really helps your kids feel seen, which helps them feel grounded. It helps them have better behavioral self-control and positive connection with you rather than that negativity. So that is a really good time to incorporate the love languages into your parenting, as well as if you're an educator or a therapist, remember to add these love languages in, and then we can all navigate the holiday season in a positive and peaceful way. Enjoy.